So Ian, thank you so much for being here. So we're back at Montreux Jazz Festival. Obviously you guys are pretty familiar, but what's it like being back in 2026, the 60th edition of the festival?
Well, hasn't changed much. I mean, obviously, since Claude died, there's an element missing. But the festival he generated has become so established that those people who've come in recent years don't notice anyway. So it's all new to them. Yes, it's changed in the music's evolved a little bit, and the stalls down there have evolved. They're mostly food now. It used to be little tents with bands in and stuff like that. But there's plenty going on, and it's still a great atmosphere. You can't alter the magic of this place. I think that's the great thing about many festivals, is that we end up in fields and on top of mountains all over in the summer season. And people just pick a spot and say, okay, let's have a festival here because it's outrageously beautiful. And this is probably
prime example.
The best of them all.
Yeah. And obviously you guys have such an incredible history here. And 2 years ago, you came back and you basically recreated the fire, like the casino fire that inspired Smoke on the Water. So what was that moment like?
I can't remember. It was behind me. We just did our show and they lit up the Stravinsky Hall that was being rebuilt, thank God, because there was no air conditioning in there. And it's pretty stifling. I don't know how the audience survived these shows, but during the renovation or the rebuild, they had the show in the town square.
Yeah, it was stunning.
With the lake in the background.
And you had the curtains were just away, weren't they? Yeah. So you could see right through to the lake.
I missed it because I was facing the other way.
But it was cool because people came up on their boats and they were just like drifting around listening to the music. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the place is magical. It is.
Yeah. And so you said in an interview last year that you would retire, or you felt like you were kind of getting on the verge of retiring if it felt like it was near the time. But your new album, Splat, you sound so energized and, like you did, 50 years ago. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're...
I have to correct you. I didn't say that at all, and I never did say that.
Were you misquoted?
And I never would say that.
Okay.
Was I misquoted? Heaven forbid.
So, yeah.
By the press? No.
It never happens before.
Lord. No, what I said was I would, when I felt I didn't have the strength, then I would retire. Okay. And I also said my eyesight was failing, and everyone said, oh, you're going to retire. Well, I don't sing through my eyes, but... yeah, we're all knocking on a bit, and
but you sound
once
amazing.
The energy's there, and you've got the drive, and the group is cranking.
Is it correct that you said that you felt this record was the best you'd made in some time?
Subjectively, yes. I mean, you can't really cater for people who are attached to a certain period of your life or a certain period of fashion in their life. I mean, I met up with an old gang of mates, my teenage friends in Portugal a couple of years ago, and they're all the same age as me, and they walked around the door and they were still wearing the same clothes they were wearing in the 60s. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. So you do get attached to that period of life, which is important to you musically, socially, all that sort of thing.
But I was at the album playback you did a few months ago for press, and you had some pretty amazing stories that you'd come up with about different characters that inspired the songs on this new record. Yeah,
the characters really are the protagonists in the stories, and I mean, I don't know where to start, but in simple terms, that the one that describes it most easily, or one of the ones, would be The Only Horse in Town, where we came across these crack addicts and they wouldn't accept any food. They just wanted dollars for crack, and they were living in a tarpaulin under the snow. And so I just pictured this guy taking his last hit and then getting up, and I put myself in his shoes and started walking across America and found a place, a sanctuary basically. And it was a story of what happened afterwards, peace and quiet, and for the soul, and a home that fell from the sky. And then there's other characters that are telling the stories in the first person, because it sounds, I think, a little more sincere that way.
Yeah.
But a lot of stories. I spent the summer before last just writing stories all summer, and not knowing which ones were going to end up on what songs.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you like the kind of the anti-hero in songwriting more than like your sort of clean-cut guy to root for or something?
I never thought of that.
I felt like the characters on this album were quite nuanced and, like they're not necessarily simple, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose so. I never thought of it that way. It's just what, you're sitting at home on a summer's night and just writing stories. And, I mean, there's one called The Lunatic, which is about Winston Smith, who's the main character in Orwell's remarkably prescient book, 1984, and his plight. But more recently, I heard that the NHS had banned the word lunatic, and most of my friends are lunatics, so I took deep offence on their behalf because of that. And that's what the song's about, the lunatic. Two things really melded together.
Yeah, but I feel the reason I kind of felt more drawn to that song, I guess, is, again, it's not as obvious. I feel like when certain political events happened, you get musicians who are so explicit in the songwriting.
I hate politics. I've got there's a song on the last album called "A Bit on the Side," and I don't want no left or right. I want up and down, in and out, back and front, a little bit of loving on the side. I grew up in a family of pendulum politics, as I call it, and nothing ever gets done. They just squabble and squawk and hoot and whine about each other. And
outside of your band, do you feel like songwriting is a storytelling form? Do you feel like it's alive and well?
I think it always has been, really, but when you're young, you don't really know, you don't have any stories to tell. My first interview was with the Middlesex Chronicle. We won a rock competition at a cinema in Southall. We got a cup for a prize, which we kept. We got a week's work at Butlins. They told us to bugger off when we arrived. And we got a year's free entry at the cinema, and they told us to bugger off as well when we arrived.
Oh.
So, but the only real prize was the interview. I learned a lot from that.
It's a good early test.
Photograph session was one thing, and that's a funny story, but I don't think I can tell you.
Okay.
But the interview, the guy asked me for an anecdote.
You drew a blank?
Yeah, my jaw dropped. I don't have any. I haven't done anything yet. Nothing's happened to me.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as the years go by, you accumulate more stories and more experience about things. When you're a kid, you write about those things that mean a lot to you, fast cars and parties and crazy life and, the rite of passage and all that sort of thing. And then you get to your late 30s and you suddenly realize, well, it's embarrassing now because I'm not really part of that group anymore. But you still want to write about exciting things, and there are plenty around you, and most of them now come through stories of experience. It's like traveling. The first time you want to see the Taj Mahal and the Sydney Harbour Bridge and Las Vegas and the Eiffel Tower, whatever it is you go out and see, and the tourists. The second time around you see all the museums and the art galleries and then you go to the pubs and the restaurants.
Yeah.
But by then, it's changed entirely. You're not looking at things, you're looking at people and the way they've affected you in your life. And it's much more, it's a much deeper thing. And there's much more to it. So that's where the stories come from, I think.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the tour? Are you enjoying the tour? The live shows? You having fun?
Oh, God, yeah. The band is cranking, yeah. There's so much energy. And it's very musical. I've been thinking about this quite a lot because, my rock and roll was all about, it was hard rock, which was hard rock and roll, which I would call, jailhouse rock and Good Golly Miss Molly and Little Richard and Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis. And then you got the more amusing stuff with Chuck Berry. And then you got love songs and romance with the Everly Brothers and Buddy Holly and Roy Orbison, and they were all part of our rock and roll until it became a genre, until it became hard rock, and then all the subdivisions and everything else, like all other kinds of music. And suddenly there's no room for texture, or it's all got to be bang, hard on. And I don't like that much because it gets repetitive. And if there's no dynamics or texture, it just,
Dynamic was the word I was going to use about your album, because I feel like it's like a kind of roller coaster ride. I feel like you start on this huge kind of like bang of a song with the amazing like guitars, obviously.
Good.
And then like you kind of go through this proper journey of like different cadences and different textures, as you
Well,
said.
that's it. I think in the live show, that's what's so good at the moment. There's a lot of we catch a few of the old songs of a different kind.
Well, you've got the most extraordinary catalogue to draw from, so
yeah, but you can't do them all, and
right.
They were all new once, so you've got to bring in some new stuff. The trouble is, over the years, new songs, whether they were, no matter how good they might be, they weren't compatible with the other things, so it made the show sound a bit fragmented.
Again, with the storytelling aspect being important.
Well,
right?
musically, I'm thinking more often lyrically on a live show. I think there's a more holistic approach to the songs. You can't look at them individually. You introduce new songs like younger brothers and sisters. You've got to hold their hand and bring them on stage and surround them with stuff that's familiar, because new stuff is hard to take, particularly if no one's heard it before. Mm-hmm. So you kind of wait for the time when you're writing songs that are compatible with the songs of, in this case, the 70s. Mm-hmm. So we're very lucky now. In the last couple of albums, we've been able to bring a lot of songs in. Mm. We've had to drop a couple from Equals One. And we might be doing 4 new ones tonight. We're going to have a sound check in a minute.
Yeah.
And but at the moment, we're doing a couple that work really well. And then there's the musical stuff, and it just seems to flow very nicely now, because there's no, well, this is an odd one out.
Yeah.
They all fit.
What do you think about artists doing more kind of residencies like now, rather than doing these big tours? More and more artists seem to be doing like 10 nights in one city, and that's like the entire UK leg of a tour or something.
Not for me, really. No, I like traveling.
You like being on the road?
I like being on the road. I like taking the music to people. I don't expect people to come to the music all the time. I think when you go to a festival, you travel a long way for a good time. That's a different story. And because there's such a blend of artists on a festival, you're going to see everybody. You're going to enjoy the experience, the overall experience. But when you're going to see a specific artist, I think you should get as close to them as you can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you say, like bringing the music to them. Yeah. And I guess also, especially today, ticket prices being what they are, travelling, everything.
Yeah, God, Gordon Bennett, yeah.
Yeah, but you still love being on the road? Like, you don't get tired of it?
Well, no, I don't. I feel great on the road. It is very much a team thing. I often compare it with the circus. You've got to do the washing up as well as the trapeze act. And you've got to, I often talk about animals in the circus because I used to love the animal circus, and everyone frowns at me. But when I was a kid, when the lion tamer put his head in the lion's mouth, I just wanted the lion to bite his head off. And it never did happen. But.
Is it like that thing of anything could happen though when you're at a live show? Is that what you think the thrill of it is?
Yeah, most things are controlled now. I mean, technically we don't get so many hiccups as we used to. It used to be...
Do you kind of miss that in a way? Like,
not really. I mean, but you learn a lot. You learn to dance on your feet, because I remember the first time, in the days of, we were just playing small venues in the early days. You break a guitar string, you just stop until the guy had changed it. Now you've got somebody just pass you another guitar. It's already. I remember we were playing the Lyceum in London, and Richie broke a string and said, "Oh, tell him a joke." I went, "Yeah, all right." And I remember I'd just been reading something about contagious yawning, so I thought I'd try it out in the audience, and
did it work?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah.
Nice. Just come back to Montreux for a last time. So what, if you could say anything about what makes it such a unique festival, what would it be?
Well, like most festivals, it's got its own character, and people actually get loyal to it. There's people who've been coming here for years and years. And I think it's a familiar place. They know what to expect when they come here. And it's a big adventure. Strangely enough, a lot of the musicians who come here, I notice, bring their families. Mm. It's a big thing. And most families of musicians don't want to travel on the road, not after the first year or two anyway. And but they all like to come to Montreux. It is a special place, and they take home some great memories. So
they all come out to Montreux.
It's hard to nail down exactly what it is, but you just got to look out the window and see. You might be in a movie, or in a dream,
or a Windows screensaver. Mm. Yeah. Ian, thanks so much for the conversation. Right. It's been great. Thank you.
Cheers.